Joining me now is Brian Dean Wright, former CIA officer, and Congressman Devin Nunes, ranking member of the House Intel Committee. Congressman, why is all of this happening now, and why the freakout among the never-Trumpers and the left?
Well, I can tell you when it was supposed to start. It was supposed to start when General Flynn came in as National Security Advisor. I know from my discussions with him, I served on the transition team, that he thought that the bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. across all the intel agencies was way too big, and he thought it should be shrunk down. And the DNI, where Ambassador Grinnell is going, that is a bureaucracy that was supposed to be a strategic planning arm. One of its only goals was to try to fix the process by which you get security clearances. And here we are nearly 2 decades later. That's the one thing they haven't fixed. And all they have done is got larger and larger and larger. So Republicans actually believe that the DNI does need to be downsized. But I do have to say, Laura, just so I'm perfectly clear, I'm not aware of any blacklists that have been created in Washington. That sounds like a fake news story of some kind. But I think the overall objective of reducing the size of these agencies is a good one. The more people we have out on the field, the much better we are.
I just love this idea that the president should actively, recruit people who work against his agenda and have them populate his administration. This is crazy town stuff. I mean, the idea that you would have people who are burrowed in to work against your administration's priorities is lunacy. No one would put up with that. Brian, remember that big media bombshell and the alleged Russia collusion last week? Well, now even CNN is reporting it was bogus. The senior DNI official, Shelby Pearson, told lawmakers on the House Intel Committee that Russia is interfering in the 2020 election with the goal of helping Trump. The intelligence doesn't say that, though. One senior national security official told CNN a more reasonable interpretation of the intel is not that they have a preference. It's a step short of that. It's more that they understand that the president is someone they can work with, that he's a deal maker. So, Brian, how would an intel briefer who's described as someone who has a reputation of being injudicious with her words get to do a briefing such as this that set off this chain reaction?
Well, when the intelligence community sends a staffer to the Hill, apparently they're not sending us their best. So, look, we have one of two problems here with this person. We've got somebody who's either incompetent, which isn't really reassuring, or we have somebody who is a partisan hack, which is also deeply alarming, or perhaps both. So let's look at those two pieces. You know, she was a career satellite imagery specialist. Why then DNI Coates selected her for this role in the depths of political analysis, the nuance necessary for that, I don't know. It's shocking. But yet we can't also say, can we, that she didn't have any particular political bias? Because we know that the whistleblower, of course, had political bias, multiple of them, actually. We also know that James Comey was leaking to achieve his partisan goals. So we can't say to the American people, that is the intelligence community, that there was nothing nefarious there. And to me, as a former intelligence officer, that's actually the most alarming and sad part of this story, right? Yes, it's bad what happened, but it's the fact that you or I can't have faith in the intelligence community. Right. And yet we have so many problems, so many enemies that we have to tackle and find and neutralize. And how do we do that? How does the president do that if he can't have faith that his intelligence community is on his side and on the side of the American people, instead doing what they want to do for their own personal partisan agenda?
He's supposed to hire more people like Shelby Pearson to give really bad briefings that set off this chain reaction. That's what he's supposed to do, Congressman Nunes. Congressman, breaking tonight, this is about you. House Republicans considering criminal referrals against Mueller prosecutors. You're looking into those 302s, those infamous 302s, how this whole deal started. What can you tell us tonight, because people want accountability here?
So slowly but surely, some of the reports are being declassified. So about a few weeks ago, I actually mentioned this on a couple of the shows, that we were going through those reports and then beginning to match them up to the Mueller indictments and the Mueller recommendations for prosecutions. And one of the things that we found, and Lee Smith has done some great reporting on this, and he has a story out today on it, is that remember the whole story that Papadopoulos needed to be really treated badly and sentenced to some time because he really stopped the FBI from being able to find Joseph Mifsud? Remember all that? Well, it ends up that's not true. That's not what the 302s say. The 302s actually say that Papadopoulos was actually trying to help the FBI, and they're the ones who said that Mifsud was going to be in the United States. And so if the lawyers that wrote that to the court and to the recommendation to the court, they need to be held accountable. So we're scrubbing through all of these 302s, and we will be making some type of criminal referral. Perhaps Attorney General Barr is appointed and a U.S. attorney out of Missouri. We'll see exactly what that U.S. attorney is looking at. But it's not okay to lie to a federal judge, especially about something so serious as somebody who's going to be indicted to serve prison time. Now,
as Brian said, as you've said so many times, and you've both written, spoken about this, we need to be able to trust our intel. It should not be political, and our FBI, the way it proceeds, has to be fair across the board without regard to party politics. That's all the president's asking for. He's not asking for special treatment. Gentlemen, you're both fantastic. We really appreciate you tonight. Thanks so much.